Fagin. The receiver of stolen goods is up early one morning and waits impatiently for the arrival of his new associate, Noah Claypole, otherwise Maurice Bolter, who at length presents himself and, cutting a monstrous slice of bread, commences a voracious assault upon the breakfast. Bolter! Bolter! Well, what? Here I am, what's the matter? I say, do not go asking me to do anything till I've done eating. It's a great fault in this place. You never get enough time over your meals. You can talk as you eat, can't you, Bolter? Oh, yeah, I can talk. I get on better when I talk. Talk away. You won't interrupt me. I want you, Bolter, to do a piece of work for me, my dear, that needs great care and caution. Oh, I say, don't you go shoving me into danger, you know. That don't suit me, that don't, and so I tell you. There's not the smallest danger in it, not the very smallest. It's only to dodge a woman. An old woman? A young one? Oh. Well, I can do that pretty well, I reckon. I was a regular sneak when I was at school. What am I to dodge her for? Not to do anything, my dear, but tell me where she goes, who she sees. If possible, what she says. To remember the house if it is a house, or the street if it is a street, and to bring me back all the information you can. What do you give me? If you do well, my dear, £1. £1. And that is what I never gave yet for any job of work where there wasn't valuable consideration to be got. Is she? One of us? Oh, Lord. You doubtful of her, are you? She has found out some new friends, my dear, and I must know who they are. Well, I see. Well, I'm your man. Where am I to go? Where am I to wait for her? What am I to do? All that, my dear, you shall hear from me at the proper time. You keep ready here and leave the rest to me. That night, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. The next again, the spies sat ready to turn out at a word from Fagin. 6 nights passed. And on each, Fagin came home with a disappointed face and briefly intimated that it was not yet time. On the 7th, he returned exultant. It was Sunday night. She goes abroad tonight and on the right errand, I'm sure, for the man she is afraid of will not be back much before daybreak. Come with me, quick. They leave the house and, stealing through a labyrinth of streets, arrive at length at a public house. Past 11 o'clock and the door is closed, but it opens softly as Fagin gives a low whistle. They enter without noise, scarcely venturing to whisper, but substituting dumb show for words. Fagin points to a pane of glass high in the wall to Noah and signs to him to climb up on a piece of furniture below it and observe the person in the adjoining room. Is that the woman? Yes. Well, I can't see her face well. She's looking down and the candle is... Oh, I see her now. Plainly. Oh, I should know her among 1,000. The spy descends. The room door opens, the girl comes out, Fagin draws in behind a small partition, and they hold their breath as she passes within a few feet of their place of concealment and emerges by the door at which they had entered. After her, to the left. Take the left hand and keep on the opposite side after her. The spy darts off. It's nearly 11:15 o'clock as the two figures emerge on London Bridge. The girl advances with a swift and rapid step and looks about her as though in search of some expected object. The young man, who slinks along in the deepest shadows he can find and at some distance accommodates his pace to hers, stopping when she stops. And as she moves again, creeping stealthily on, but never allowing himself in the ardour of his pursuit to gain upon her. At nearly the centre of the bridge, she stops, he stops. The day has been unfavourable, and at that time and place there are few people stirring, such as there are hurry past, possibly without seeing, certainly without noticing either the woman or the man. They are not attractive to such of London's destitute population who chance to find their way across the bridge that night. And they stand there in silence, neither speaking nor spoken to. Heavy bell of St. Paul's tolls the death of another day. Midnight has come upon the crowded city, upon the palace, the night cellar, the jail, the madhouse, upon the chambers of birth and death, of sickness and health, upon the rigid face of the corpse and the calm sleep of the child. A young lady, accompanied by a grey-haired gentleman, dismounts from the hackney carriage. They have scarcely set foot upon the pavement of the bridge when the girl starts and joins them. Not here. I'm afraid to speak to you here. Come away out of the public road, down those steps yonder. The steps to which she points are those which on the Surrey bank and on the same side of the bridge as St. Saviour's Church form a landing stairs from the river. To this spot the spy hastens unobserved, and after a moment's survey of the place begins to descend. Now these steps consist of 3 flights. Just below the end of the second, going down the stone wall on the left, terminates in an ornamental pilaster. At this point, the lower steps widen so that a person turning the angle of the wall is necessarily unseen by any others who chance to be above, if only a step. The spy looks hastily around him when he reaches this spot, and as there seems no better place of concealment, and as the tide being out, there's plenty of room, he slips aside with his back to the pilaster, pretty certain they'll come no lower down. This is far enough. This is a voice which is evidently that of the gentleman. I will not suffer the young lady to go any further. Why have you brought us to this dreadful place? Why not have let me speak to you above there where there's light and something stirring, instead of bringing us to this dark and dismal hole? I told you before, I was afraid to speak to you there. I don't know why it is, but I have such a fear and dread on me tonight that I can hardly stand. A fear of what? I scarcely know of what. Horrible thoughts of death. Shrouds with blood upon them. And a fear which has made me burn as if I were on fire have been upon me all day. Imagination. No, imagination, I swear. Pray speak to her kindly, says the young lady. She seems to need it, poor creature. You weren't here last Sunday night, girl, as you had appointed. I couldn't come. I was kept by force. Who kept you? Bill Sikes. Him that I told the young lady of before. You were not suspected of holding any communication on the subject which has brought us here tonight, I hope? No, sir, no. It isn't very easy for me to leave him unless he knows why, and I couldn't have seen the young lady when I did, but that I gave him a drink of laudanum before I came away. Did he wake before you returned? No. Neither he nor any of them suspect me. Good. Now then, my name's Mr. Brownlow, this young lady's friend. I wish you in this young lady's interest and for her sake to deliver up Fagin. Fagin? No. No, I'll never do it. Devil as he is, and worse than devil as he has been to me as my teacher in all devilry, I'll not do it. Why? For the reason that bad lives he's led, I've led a bad life too, for the reason that there are many among us who've kept the same courses together. And I'll not turn upon the many of them who might have turned upon me but didn't, bad as they are. Last, for the reason, how can I say it with a young lady here? Among them there is this one, this Bill, this Sikes, that I can't leave. Whether it's God's wrath for the wrong I've done, I don't know, but I'm drawn back to him through everything, and should be, I believe, even if I knew I was to die by his hand. But put one man, not him, not one of the gang, the one man monks into my hands, and leave the rest to me. If he should turn against the others, I promise you that in that case there the matter shall rest, they shall go scot-free. Have I the young lady's word for that? You have, replied Rose Maylie. I have been a liar, and I have been among liars from a little child, but I will take your word. After receiving an assurance from both that she might safely do so, she proceeded in a voice so low that it was sometimes difficult for the listener to discover even the purport of what she was saying, to describe the means by which this one-man monks might be found and taken. But nothing would have induced her to compromise one of her own companions, little reason though she had, poor wretch, to spare them. Now then, says Mr. Brownlow when she'd finished, you have given us most valuable assistance, young lady, and I wish you to be the better for it. What can I do to serve you? Nothing, sir. You'll not persist in saying that. Think now, take time and tell me. Nothing, sir. You can do nothing to help me. I'm past all hope. You put yourself beyond its pale. I do not say it is in our power to offer you peace of heart and mind, for that must come as you seek it, but a quiet asylum, either in England, or if you fear to remain here in some foreign country, it is not only within the compass of our ability, but our own most earnest wish to secure you. Before this river wakes, before the dawn of morning, you can be placed as far beyond the reach of your former associates, and leave as complete an absence of trace behind you as if you had disappeared from the earth this instant. I would not have you go back to exchange one word with any old companion, or to take one look at any old haunt. Quit them now, while there's time and opportunity. She'll be persuaded now, I think, said the young lady. I fear not, my dear. No, sir. No, miss. I'm chained to my old life. I loathe it and I hate it, but I cannot leave it. When ladies as young and good, as happy and beautiful as you, miss, give away your heart's love, will carry even you o'er lengths, when such as I set our rotten hearts on any man. Who can hope to cure us? This fear comes over me again. Let us part. I shall be watched or seen. If I have done you any service, all I ask is that you leave me and let me go my way alone. Take this purse, cries Rose Maylie. Take it for my sake, that you may have some resource in an hour of need and trouble. No, I've not done this for money. Let me have that to think of, and yet give me something you've worn. I should like to have something. No, not a ring. They'd rob me of that. Your gloves or handkerchief. Anything I can keep. Something belong to you. There. Bless you. God bless you. Good night. Good night. The sound of retreating footsteps followed, and the voices ceased.